Have you ever noticed how that little plastic lemon or glass bottle sitting in your refrigerator door smells more like a bottle of industrial countertop cleaner than an actual piece of fruit? You squeeze a splash into your morning water or over your salmon, thinking you're doing something great for your body, but instead of a bright, refreshing kick, you get a flat, metallic sourness that catches in the back of your throat. If you've ever looked at your bottled lemon juice and wondered why it stays perfectly unnaturally yellow for literally 6 months without ever spoiling, you're not crazy, and your taste buds aren't lying to you. The truth is, that convenient little bottle of juice you use every single day isn't just inferior to a real lemon. It is a highly processed chemical illusion designed by corporate accountants to mimic a fruit it hasn't touched in months. Today, we are going to completely blow the lid off the $400 million bottled lemon juice industry and expose the massive deception sitting right on your grocery store shelves. You'll find out exactly how major corporations use legal loopholes to stretch pennies into millions. I'll show you the hidden preservatives that can turn into actual carcinogens right inside the bottle. And we'll break down the specific industry secrets that allow a product to be labeled as pure when it's anything but. By the end of this video, you will know more than 90% of shoppers, and you'll never look at the condiment aisle the same way again. And make sure you stick around, because the absolute worst offender on our list is a household staple that is likely sitting in your fridge right now. And what's hiding inside its ingredient list is genuinely shocking. Before we name the specific brands you need to toss into the trash, we need to understand how the lemon juice industry actually works behind closed doors. To make one single honest bottle of real lemon juice, a manufacturer needs roughly 12 to 14 fresh lemons. At standard American grocery store prices, that means a company would have to spend anywhere from $3 to $5 just on raw fruit before even factoring in the cost of glass, shipping, or labor. For massive multi-billion-dollar food conglomerates chasing quarterly profit margins, that math is an absolute nightmare. So instead of selling you juice, they engineered a logistical magic trick. They buy the lowest grade commercial lemons in absolute bulk from massive industrial farms, juice them mechanically, and then immediately blast that liquid with extreme heat to boil it down into a thick, gooey paste called concentrate by stripping away almost all the natural water. Think of it like taking a beautifully engineered sports car, crushing it into a metal cube to save space in a shipping container, and then trying to hammer it back into a car later. This dense paste is pumped into massive tanker trucks or cargo ships where it sits for weeks or even months, traveling across global supply chains before it ever reaches a bottling plant here in the USA. Once that sludge arrives at the domestic factory, technicians pump the water back in to reconstitute it. But there's a massive problem. The boiling and processing completely destroyed the delicate top notes, the aroma, and the natural flavor of the fruit. It tastes like battery acid and cardboard. To fix this, they inject factory-made lemon oil, chemical additives, and something the FDA vaguely allows them to call natural flavors to artificially build back the flavor profile they murdered during concentration. Then comes the final insult. They dose it with heavy chemical preservatives to make sure it can sit on a warm supermarket shelf for a year without growing mold. And here is the legal loophole that keeps this whole scam running. The FDA allows a product to be prominently labeled as 100% lemon juice, even if it is completely reconstituted from a dead concentrate, as long as the final water-to-solid ratio matches fresh juice. 100% juice does not mean fresh, it does not mean unprocessed, and it definitely doesn't mean it's good for you. You're paying premium prices for a chemistry project, and it's time to find out which brands are the biggest culprits. Let's dive straight into the worst offenders on American grocery shelves ranking them from the everyday offenders to the absolute kings of supermarket deception. We are going to start with the store brands you buy to save a buck and work our way up to the household icons that have been lying to your family for decades. First up is Walmart's Great Value lemon juice. Now, nobody goes to Walmart expecting artisanal, hand-pressed citrus juices from a boutique orchard, but you should at least expect that a bottle labeled as juice contains, well, juice. Instead, Great Value gives you a masterclass in global supply chain cost cutting. If you flip this green-capped bottle around, the ingredient list reveals a cocktail of water, concentrated lemon juice, sodium metabisulfite, sodium benzoate, and lemon oil. Walmart sells this 32-ounce giant for around $1.50, which sounds like an unbeatable steal, until you realize you are essentially paying for chemically altered municipal water mixed with a globalized sludge. They source their concentrate from whoever is selling it cheapest on the international commodities market that fiscal quarter, meaning your juice could be a mixture of leftovers from entirely different continents. The taste is incredibly flat, harsh, and aggressively sour without any of the bright floral complexity of a real lemon. It is an industrial compromise disguised as a bargain, and it ruins everything from a simple glass of lemonade to a delicate seafood dish. Speaking of store brands that try to look a bit more upscale while pulling the exact same stunt, let's talk about Target's Market Pantry Lemon Juice. Target loves to market itself as the cleaner, trendier alternative to Walmart, but behind that bright red bullseye logo and the clean typography lies the exact same corporate playbook. The ingredient deck reads: water, concentrated lemon juice, sodium metabisulfite, sodium benzoate, and natural flavors. Let's pause on that phrase, natural flavors, for a second. Under FDA regulations, a natural flavor can legally be derived from almost anything organic, and it does not have to come from a lemon. It could be citric acid industrially produced through the fermentation of a specific black mold fed on corn syrup, or flavor fractions harvested from completely different fruits. Target uses these engineered flavors to mask the fact that their base concentrate has been processed into oblivion and tastes completely dead. When you use it, you get a sharp, immediate hit of artificial acidity that vanishes instantly, leaving a weirdly chemical aftertaste on the back of your tongue. You are paying a Target premium for the illusion of simplicity. While the fine print tells a completely different story, if you already feel like checking your own pantry shelves right now to see what kind of chemical cocktails you've been serving your family, hit that subscribe button, because the big name brands get even harsher from here. Next on the chopping block is Concord Foods Lemon Juice. You usually find this one sitting in a little plastic, lemon-shaped squeeze bottle right in the produce section, which is an incredibly deceptive marketing trick. By placing it next to the actual fresh fruits and vegetables, Concord Foods wants your brain to subconsciously categorize their product as fresh and natural. But if you turn that little plastic fruit over and read the microscopic text on the back, you'll find concentrated lemon juice, sodium benzoate, sodium metabisulfite, and lemon oil. Notice how lemon oil is explicitly listed as a separate ingredient. Think about how insane that is for a moment. They process, boil, ship, and handle the juice so aggressively that they completely strip out its natural aromatic oils, forcing them to literally buy separate lemon oil from a flavor house and inject it back into their own product, just so it smells like a lemon when you squeeze it. The texture of this stuff is completely watery, and if you leave it in your fridge, it never changes color or degrades because it's practically mummified by preservatives. It is a full-blown chemistry project with a bright yellow piece of plastic acting as a mask. That brings us to a massive player in the convenience game, Heinz Lemon Juice. Yes, the ketchup kings also dominate the institutional juice market, providing those little plastic single-serve packets you see at diners, seafood spots, and drive-thrus across America, as well as bulk bottles for food service. Heinz relies completely on brand trust. You see that classic Keystone label and you assume it's a gold standard product. But the reality inside the bottle is the same depressing formula: water, concentrated lemon juice, and a heavy dose of sodium metabisulfite and sodium benzoate. Heinz uses its massive corporate distribution to flood the market with cheap preserved concentrate. If you've ever squeezed one of those little packets into your iced tea at a local restaurant and noticed a distinct, metallic, almost sulfur-like smell, you're smelling the preservatives working overtime to keep that liquid stable at room temperature for months on end. It is flat, one-note acidity that utterly lacks the vibrant, refreshing zinc of the real thing. Finally, we have reached the absolute titan of deception, the most famous, most trusted, and most ubiquitous bottle in the entire country, ReaLemon. Owned by the massive beverage conglomerate Keurig Dr. Pepper, ReaLemon is the brand that practically invented this entire scam and has been coasting on consumer familiarity for generations. Everyone recognizes that green cap and the iconic bottle shape. People trust it because their parents and grandparents bought it. But ReaLemon is the ultimate example of a marketing budget masquerading as a quality product. Flip that bottle over and read the ingredients out loud: water, concentrated lemon juice, sodium metabisulfite, sodium benzoate, and lemon oil. 5 ingredients for a product that has a picture of a fresh sliced lemon on the front. Let's look at what these chemicals actually do to your body. Sodium metabisulfite is a heavy sulfite-based preservative that acts as a chemical bleaching agent. Its primary job is to stop the natural oxidation process, keeping the liquid looking a uniform, bright yellow instead of the natural cloudy, slightly amber tint that real lemon juice turns over time. If you have any sensitivity to sulfites, this stuff can trigger everything from headaches to digestive issues. Even worse is the second preservative, sodium benzoate. When sodium benzoate is combined with ascorbic acid or citric acid, which lemons are absolutely packed with, and exposed to heat or light, it can form trace amounts of benzene. Benzene is a known human carcinogen. While the levels might be low, why on earth would you want to willingly ingest trace amounts of a carcinogen just for the convenience of a fake juice? ReaLemon charges you a premium brand name price for cheap, dead concentrate, tap water, and a toxic cocktail of shelf-stabilizing chemicals. It is a brilliant corporate cash cow, but as a consumer product, it is absolute garbage. And now, let's pivot to exactly what it was worth watching all the way through for. We've dragged the worst corporate offenders through the mud, so it's time to talk about the good guys. These are the clean, honest brands that prove you do not need a toxic laboratory cocktail just to keep lemon juice shelf stable. You can head down to your local grocery store right now, whether you shop at Whole Foods, Sprouts, Kroger, Publix, or Target, and find these exact bottles waiting for you. We are going to start with the most accessible, budget-friendly gateway to real citrus, Santa Cruz Organic Pure Lemon Juice. This is your ultimate high-quality mainstream value play. Santa Cruz Organic is a company deeply rooted in clean, eco-friendly manufacturing, and they don't take shortcuts with their raw materials. Flip this glass bottle around and read the label. It lists exactly one thing: organic lemon juice. That is it. No added municipal water, no fake flavors, and absolutely zero industrial chemical preservatives. Because it is flash pasteurized and sealed in an airtight glass bottle, it keeps its natural safety without needing a drop of sodium benzoate. When you pour it out, you will notice it isn't a transparent neon yellow neon sign. It is beautifully cloudy with natural citrus pulp and fine sediment that settles at the bottom. It smells bright, zesty, and exactly like a fruit you just sliced open on your kitchen counter. Price-wise, A 16-ounce bottle usually sits right around $4 to $5 depending on the retailer. When you break that down into cost per serving, it is only pennies more than the corporate chemical cocktails, but the flavor is so punchy and concentrated that you actually end up using less liquid to get the same culinary kick. The only real downside is that because it is genuinely pure, you do need to keep it strictly refrigerated after opening and use it within a few weeks. But that is a tiny price to pay for real food. If you want to step your culinary game up even further, our next recommendation takes us to an incredible family-run operation right here in the United States, Uncle Matt's Organic. Based out of Claremont, Florida, founder Matt McLean built this brand on a completely uncompromising mission to produce clean, organic citrus products with absolutely no shortcuts. While they are incredibly famous for their fresh orange juices, their pure lemon juice line is an absolute sleeper hit on the supermarket shelves. The ingredient deck is a minimalist dream. 100% organic lemon juice, cold pressed and never from concentrate. Uncle Matt's sources their fruit from certified organic groves that completely ban synthetic pesticides and fertilizers. Independent laboratory data consistently shows that cold-pressed, non-concentrated organic citrus retains significantly higher levels of natural vitamin C and active food enzymes compared to the heat-blasted corporate alternatives. In practice, this stuff hits your palate with a beautifully layered, robust tartness, followed by a smooth, clean finish that completely lacks that harsh, metallic sting found in cheap store brands. It retails for about $5 for a pint bottle at major grocers like Whole Foods and Kroger. It is an incredibly honest, domestic product that treats your body with respect. Finally, we have reached the undisputed heavyweight champion of the juice aisle, the absolute gold standard that won my entire product audit by a landslide. Lakewood Organic Pure Lemon Juice. Produced by an independent family-owned juice company operating right out of Miami, Florida since 1996, Lakewood is a legendary name among clean-eating advocates for a reason. Turn a bottle of Lakewood around, and you will find a single magnificent ingredient: certified organic lemon juice. No concentrate, no reconstitution, no water, no junk. Lakewood uses a premium cold pressing extraction method that completely avoids the violent, high-heat industrial boiling processes used by massive industrial conglomerates. This means the juice inside that heavy glass bottle retains its full, natural, complex flavor profile, its fragile nutritional integrity, and its authentic aroma. It smells intensely vivid, slightly floral, and incredibly fresh. The taste is a complete revelation compared to a brand like ReaLemon. It has a sharp, vibrant acidity balanced by the subtle, natural sweetness of real fruit. Now, let's talk about the price, because honesty and praise matters. A 32-ounce glass bottle of Lakewood runs between $7 and $8. Yes, that is visibly higher than a cheap plastic bottle of Walmart store brand sludge. But let's look at the actual value math. You are buying actual, undiluted, premium organic fruit juice, not chemically mummified tap water. Ounce for ounce, the culinary potency is so superior that you use significantly less per recipe, closing the price gap completely. It is a premium, uncompromising product that is worth every single cent. Now that you know exactly which brands to grab and which ones to skip, let's arm you with the ultimate self-defense toolkit for the grocery store, so you never get tricked by slick packaging ever again. Here are the precise, non-negotiable rules for buying lemon juice on your own. Rule number 1. Inspect the material of the container itself and always choose heavy glass bottles over squeeze plastics. High quality, pure citrus juices are highly acidic and will slowly leach unwanted chemical compounds out of cheap plastic bottles over months of storage, whereas glass completely preserves the pristine flavor and purity of the liquid. Rule number 2. Perform a hard pass on any label that proudly proclaims the words made from concentrate or reconstituted. These phrases are legal euphemisms for juice that was boiled down into a dead paste, shipped across the globe, and artificially revived with tap water. Rule number 3. Scan the ingredient list with a zero tolerance policy for chemical stabilizers like sodium metabosulfate or sodium benzoate. If a brand needs to pump its product full of synthetic bleaching agents and mummifying preservatives just to keep it from rotting on a warm shelf, it means they are selling you a heavily degraded product that lacks any natural vitality. Rule number 4. Treat the phrase natural flavors as a massive red flag on a citrus label. Pure lemon juice does not require added flavors because real fruit naturally tastes like itself. So this additive only exists to mask the fact that the original taste was completely destroyed during industrial processing. Rule number 5. Look for visible cloudiness, real pulp, and fine sediment settling at the very bottom of the glass bottle. A perfectly clear, completely see-through, yellow liquid means the juice has been aggressively filtered, processed, and stripped of the natural beneficial fibers and essential nutrients that make lemons healthy in the first place. Rule number 6. Look for certifications like USDA Organic or Non-GMO Project Verified to ensure you aren't consuming heavy systemic pesticides with your daily dose of citrus. Rule number 7. Check the location of the bottle in the store and remember that real, unpreserved juices will often be kept in the refrigerated produce section, or clearly specify that they must be refrigerated immediately after opening. When you step back and look at the entire landscape, the reality of the food industry becomes incredibly obvious. Major conglomerates have taken a simple, beautiful gift from nature, a fresh lemon, and turned it into a highly optimized, globalized commodity designed to maximize corporate profits while giving you the illusion of health. They count on you being too busy, too tired, or too trusting to flip that bottle around and read the fine print in the grocery aisle. But once you make that single shift in your thinking, once you stop buying into the bright pictures on the front of the box and start demanding real, single ingredient foods, their marketing magic tricks completely lose all power over you. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time hanging out with me today and digging into the truth behind the grocery shelves. If you have a friend or a family member who is constantly squeezing that little plastic green-capped bottle into their morning detox water, thinking they are doing their body a massive favor, please share this video with them right now because they deserve to know what they are actually ingesting. I want to hear from you down in the comments section. Go check your refrigerator door right now, look at the label, and tell me exactly which brand of lemon juice is sitting in your home at this very